Let's talk about the Big Ten.
The Big Ten, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon feel like a pretty clear-cut top three, although Iowa and Michigan have the same conference record as the Ducks, so I guess maybe we won't exclude them just yet. But in the rankings, it is Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon that look like they're relatively safe for a CFP spot. Outside of that, the Big Ten's fourth best team, Tom, a lot to pick from here. Well, no, I guess really just three teams. Iowa, Michigan, USC. I guess Nebraska could sneak back up in there if they went out. There are other possibilities. But is the Big Ten getting a fourth team in? What's the situation here?
Cole's face. What is that, Cole?
You're forgetting the most important one.
Which one?
Washington.
Oh, Washington. Yeah, Washington's there too at 3-2. Sorry,
God,
they're a little
that had a
around
snapshot of the
tiebreakers.
Big Ten, quite literally.
Fair. That's fair. No, but I am also with TJ and that it feels like it's a 3-team race at this point in time. So no disrespect to Washington. I think Washington can still make a run of it, but it's the irony of this entire situation. The fourth best team in the Big Ten isn't even ranked. It's Iowa. Michigan lost to USC head-to-head, so I'm already counting Michigan out there, hashtag 8-4. You will get the answer to this game on November 15th because Iowa goes to USC, so that's going to be interesting. Iowa, outside of Ohio State, is probably the best defense in the Big Ten, and that's no disrespect to what Indiana has done. Indiana's pitched shutouts or damn near shutouts just about this entire season and beaten people to sleep, I think demoralizing them with the way they play offense into the second half. This Iowa team is as Kirk Ferentz as it gets. They play outstanding defense, top 10 defense statistically, probably the best offensive line in the sport right now. Mark Gronowski is wildly inconsistent as a passer, but they're self-aware enough to limit his attempts to about 15 a game, and his ability to scramble and make something happen in either design or improvised QB run, I think just makes them dangerous. They run the ball, Iowa, well. Like, they do everything that you expect of an Iowa team. And the truth of the matter is, like, they don't have the overwhelming talent that they've had of years past. If anything, like along the offensive line, yes, this is just a really smart, intelligent, physical football team. And they're not caught up in the window dressing and the glitz and glam of the NIL era. Like, these are just a bunch of Iowa dudes who want to punch you in the mouth. Phil Parker's done an awesome job once again with this defense. So as this season wears on and you're looking forward to the college football playoff, do you really want to play a smash mouth game for 4 quarters against the Iowa Hawkeyes? I think Michigan still is going to have a chance to sneak in. They absolutely have to beat Ohio State in order to do so, because the remainder of their schedule is versus Purdue, at Northwestern, and at Maryland, and then you host Ohio State. So granted, yeah, a lot of Michigan fans have been saying, well, we've beaten Ohio State for 4 years in a row. This is still a really good Ohio State team, and it does seem like Ryan Day and company have culturally and in terms of an identity figured out the issues of last season, and they don't seem like they're making those same mistakes this year. I don't think they're walking into the Michigan game this year thinking, that hubris of Ryan Day last year of we're going to be more physical than you. It's like, no, we know exactly who we are. Matt Patricia has done an awesome job with that defense. Brian Hartline, who we were just talking about, has made things really easy for Julian Sayin. That young quarterback continues to get better and better as the season goes on. Offensive line is playing well, etc. USC is the one to me that Lincoln Riley just hasn't really proven it within this conference yet. He hasn't really proven that he can do this at USC, frankly. So I'm not necessarily in love with what USC is able to do. Again, that game on November 15th is going to be critical. But we mentioned Nebraska. USC's at Nebraska on the 1st. They're playing Northwestern, Iowa. They're at Oregon towards the back end of the season, and they play UCLA in the Rose Bowl. So I think UCLA's kind of got a tough stretch here to finish the season, but I'd put my money on Iowa at this point as the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
I'll get right back to the video, but first, I do want to give some love to Sleeper. Make sure, as this month is winding down, that you go get your free play. You don't even have to make the play, but if they're giving something away for free, go take it. Use our code CFA for a free $20 play on the Sleeper app. That lasts through October. Don't miss out. Don't be messaging me on November 1st and saying, oh, can we still get it? No, go get it right now. Click the link in the description when this video is over, and it'll auto-populate that code for you so you get your free $20 play. We'll play this game more or less every single Wednesday live on the Power 2. You can also get $100, up to $100 match on your first deposit, but you don't have to deposit anything. Just go get the free play.
I don't disagree, but just because I want to have semantics and make the show a little bit longer, I'll push back and say USC. And the reason I say USC is because of offensively, when they are on point, they may have two of the most dangerous receivers in the Big Ten, not named Jeremiah Smith. And I think that they're still able to have a decent enough offensive line to give Jada Maeva time to be able to throw the football downfield. I mean, that's the case. You lose to Notre Dame, nobody's going to sit here and say losing to Notre Dame, even if it wasn't a good performance overall, is that big of a negative. And the only other loss came to Illinois on the road, where you had it until you didn't. So we're talking about this team being maybe a missed field goal away from winning in Champaign and them being a top 15 roster in the Big Ten. I think offense carries. I think offense is a big time factor to where, if you're humming at the right time, there's a lot to buy into. Of your defense just has to get one critical stop for you to be able to open the floodgates. I think that USC has an offense right now that's top 10 in the country, top 10 on third down efficiency, top 10 in passing, with both Mekhi Lemon and what you got with a Jacoby Lane that can make plays in space. I do wonder about the rushing attack. How is it going to look after the bye week? You go face off against Nebraska this weekend on the road, but there's an opportunity for, I think, USC to silence the critics and say to everybody, we are the fourth best team. Because you also mentioned, Tom, that we didn't bring this up, the Iowa versus USC matchup. Iowa plays Oregon. USC also plays Oregon. If one of those losses comes to Oregon, if one of those wins comes over Oregon, to me, that's the common opponent matchup. So let's just say Iowa is able to beat Oregon, but they lose to USC. Let's say that USC beats Oregon and loses to Oregon, but beats Iowa. Maybe at this point you would say, okay, well, you know what? To be able to play against Oregon, shut them down, get them a second loss, by all means, Iowa's a better team. But if USC does it, there you go, common opponent. One team got a win over them, one team didn't. I think that's pretty fair. That's another game to where you can say that makes it the fourth team. I think Michigan is clearly, in my opinion, fighting for the fifth spot versus fighting for the fourth spot. I think that that's where it is with Iowa or USC. You're more so in that pecking order. Nebraska is, I think, in the sixth spot. And then, unfortunately, my dear Washington Huskies. Even if you can say that you finished the year off on a high note, because you saw some games that you can probably dismantle opponents and prove that you're better than everybody else. And Damon Williams looked awesome once again against Illinois. Even though it was in Washington, they're a dangerous team. I think that they belong in the ranked. I think they belong ranked. Iowa belongs ranked, by the way, as an SEC elitist. Iowa's the one team that you have to rank, in my opinion, at this point. You can have the conversation about everyone else. Iowa, I think you can rank. Unfortunately, Washington's going to come in at 7.
The college football playoff rankings drop tomorrow night, and I very much looking forward to that. I just want to read down the odds to make the college football playoff, which, understanding that a lot of this has to do with who's on your schedule, where you'll be favored, what you've done so far. There's a lot more that plays into it than just looking at the odds and saying, these are the predictions for what's going to happen. For example, Vandy and Texas both have similar odds to make it, but as soon as that game happens, one of those teams will drop drastically. Tennessee and Oklahoma have similar odds to make it. Oklahoma a little bit lower, but as soon as one of those two teams loses, their odds will drop drastically. So you can't take this for like an end-all be-all. Georgia Tech and Louisville have very similar odds. One of those teams is not, the ACC is not getting 3 teams in. Now, could they both make it if Miami stumbles? Sure. Right now, the odds go like this: Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, A&M, Georgia, Oregon. So we've listed 3 Big Ten teams at that point. Notre Dame, Miami, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Vandy, Tennessee, Texas, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma. And then 16th is USC, the 4th Big Ten team in 16th right now. Now, I just told you, Vandy and Texas, one of them will cancel each other out this week. Oklahoma and Tennessee, one of them will cancel each other out this week as well, which would put USC up to about 14th, meaning that they're kind of in line. If they win out, they could get in. And so could any of these other teams we're mentioning. Right behind USC, by a couple of spots is actually Cincinnati, and then Michigan's right behind Cincinnati. And then you got to go down pretty far to get to Iowa, who has worse odds right now than USF, Duke, and ironically, LSU. So I guess the question, just quickly before we finish this off, will the Big Ten get the fourth team in?
I'm doubting it right now. Honestly, this is not a great year for Big Ten football in the grand scheme of things. The SEC, I think, heard everything from the last 2 years and said, hold my beer. And here's the thing about USC. It's not out of the realm of possibility they lose their last 3 games.
Yep.
Against Iowa, granted at home, at Oregon, and then this is clearly, I know the loss last week to Indiana was brutal. This is a very motivated UCLA team in your rivalry game. And when you're going out, you might not have your interim head coach going into next season. You might have Jerry Neuheisel next season. Maybe he gets some suitors from other places. Does Nico stick around in UCLA? Like, they're going to leave everything out there at the Rose Bowl. So, I mean, if USC goes on a 3-game skid, then Lincoln's probably out of a job. But there's a lot of stuff that could change there. I think Iowa it's always been the case, unless they won the Big Ten West, they lack sex appeal. So I'm not shocked to hear that USC is going to be a team that, in terms of eyeballs and brand, yeah, of course you want to get them into the playoff. More people are going to pay attention to that. Obviously, the high-profile game against Notre Dame. Nobody gets jacked up about Iowa outside of Iowa football fans. But Iowa's a damn good team. I think Iowa deserves to be the 4th best team in the Big Ten. But in terms of who makes the college football playoff, right now, I think there's a lot of other SEC teams that you could take that would be better options and would survive multiple rounds.
Wow, not a hypothetical win for the Big Ten from our Big Ten guy. I mean, wow. I mean,
I'm being honest.
And
how many times I had to hear that last year? Hypothetical win.
How's the chaos look down the stretch? Does Miami miss the ACC championship, which I think is unlikely now? They still are the odds-on favorite to win it, but they could miss the ACC championship, and the ACC could get 2 teams in. Does Texas Tech miss the Big 12 championship and still get in with just the 1 loss? So there's a lot to be determined there as well. Does Notre Dame slip up and another spot open up because of that? Does absolute SEC carnage happen in the last month that could get things really, really weird? What if Bama loses to Auburn on the Plains or something stupid like that? So we will see. Interesting, though,